Two, one, and here we are. Another episode of the Beanie Boys with Moses and Doak. What is up, guys? Welcome back.
Let's
Episode
get it.
3, Trace. Let's go. Obviously, both of us repping CLC today because
Let's
why
go,
not?
baby. Hey, do this.
First thing up, of course, is college football. Doak, I heard you got some hot takes today, so let's hear them. College football. Let's go.
Northwestern at 8. Notre Dame at 2. Notre Dame at 2. Notre Dame at 2, dude. I am so excited about this team. Oh my gosh. Ian Book is playing like a Heisman contender. We have a squad of running backs headed by Kyron Williams, dude. He is a beast. He will break your ankles. He will break your skull with his shoulder. He is a menace on the field. Our defense is just absurd, dude. This is the best, maybe could easily be the best Notre Dame team I've ever seen in my lifetime of watching Notre Dame football. This team is ridiculous. We beat Clemson. We wiped the floor with teams, man. We wiped the floor with teams. We are playing like a top dog, man. I love it. We deserve to be number 2, if not number 1. We are making this our year, baby. Notre Dame fighting Irish. Let's go. Let's go. Come on, baby.
I can't argue with that.
4 years in a row. 4 years in a row. The number 2 ranked team has been the national champion. It's the 5th year at Notre Dame. Look at that. 8-0, ranked number 2, baby. Come on now. It's too easy. Come on now. Come on, baby. Let's go, dude. I'm just chilling here with my mug.
I can't argue with that, but I'm just not sold.
Loving it. I'm loving it.
I'm just not sold.
Loving it.
I hate to tell you.
Mm-mm.
Look, Notre Dame, as good as they are, every year, where are they? They're always in the top. They're always doing really good up until this point, yeah? But then what happens in the second half of the season? What happens towards the end? What happens every year? They shit the bed, and then they just keep going downhill.
This is the best Notre Dame team I've ever seen, dude. They have no holes. They have scored 40 points or more in 5 of their 8 games played. They're ridiculous, bro. They're ridiculous. They can play with any team. They beat what was previously ranked as the number 1 team in Clemson. I mean, and they could still finish in the red zone too. They've been struggling finishing in the red zone sometimes. So, I mean, if they improve in that area, which they should be able to, it's over, dude. It's over. It's over. Let's go, man. I'm so excited for this team. And so are Irish fans nationwide. I'm just sitting here with my mug.
I don't know. I think I'm still taking Nick Saban in Alabama, taking it all. Why? Because you just can't beat the man at football. You just can't. I mean, maybe right now that he's out with Corona, but you can't. Also, I'm going to pause it real quick because
You're on fire right now.
all right, here we are. I don't know. Alabama,
They're really good. They're really good. I'm just really
They're really
excited
good
about
every
the Notre
year?
Dame team. I think
But-
they're on fire, dude. But here we go. This is what's really been surprising me lately. Northwestern is at 8th in this college football playoff ranking, which I think they deserve. You got a take on this or what?
I mean, honestly, I think they're doing great. Not to mention, of course, we have a player there from our hometown,
Wyatt Blake.
Wyatt Blake.
We see you, dog. You got a shout out on the Beanie Boys podcast. That's when you know you've made it.
Yes, sir.
We see you over at Northwestern. All the Chicagoland is absolutely loving what you're doing over there, bro. 8th in the nation. You are ranked. Beat Wisconsin, previously 10th ranked Wisconsin.
Whew.
And I'm just excited for this Big Ten championship, man.
Which
What do you
also,
think of this? What do you think
Wisconsin
of
has
this?
fallen down. Speaking about Wisconsin, at number 16,
100%.
you're telling me a team like Wisconsin should be at 16? That's an embarrassment for that school.
No, they've played. They're 2-1 and they lost to Northwestern. I think that's a fair ranking. What's not a fair ranking is BYU. They're 9-0. They're behind Iowa State, Oklahoma, and Georgia as teams with 2 losses, and they have none. They're 9-0. That's the best record
That's
here, and their schedule has not been very strong. But if you go 9-0, you deserve to at least be in the top 10. I would put them easily in the top 8, where they are, I believe, in the coaches poll.
yeah. I mean,
But
I just think that's just straight up disrespectful. 9 and
that's
0,
disrespectful.
9 and 0. How can you be 9 and 0 and be the 14th spot? I mean, AP has them at 8, so I mean, I guess that's
Mm-hmm.
personally I agree a
Yeah,
bit more with that, but
I agree with that. I agree with that.
I guess at the
And
end of
then
the
if
day,
college football finally extended the playoffs like they should, then they'd be in the playoffs, and we would be having this conversation about them being 8th in the playoff ranking. It's ridiculous, man. Like, come on now.
I mean, especially when you have teams that have like losses. Oklahoma is above them. They're 6 and 2.
Iowa State is above them, dude.
How is
What?
Iowa State above
What?
BYU? That's not even.
What?
The more I look at these
That's
rankings, the more I get mad. Let's talk about Coastal Carolina at 8 and 0 at 20. 8 and 0.
we gotta understand they haven't played anybody. That's the problem.
I guess so, but that's also
And but
straight
when
up
you
disrespectful.
but then when you put up that argument against BYU, then you look at the eyeball test, which is kind of like the gauge for that, and they look really, really good. They've beaten every single opponent by more than 2 touchdowns, I believe.
Well, I
That might
mean,
have been somebody different.
BYU football. I mean, we can really look up their scores. That's the great thing about having these
Yeah,
computers.
that might have been
Oh,
somebody different. I'm
no,
pretty
they,
sure.
they have been destroying everyone. They
Yeah,
destroyed Houston. They
that's what I'm
destroyed
saying.
Texas State, Boise State. They blew out Boise State last week.
Hmm.
2 weeks ago. Holy shit. And North
Yeah.
Alabama didn't even stand a chance. 66-14. San Diego
Yeah,
State's a
that's
really
what
good
I'm saying, dude. Like you're beating
performance.
teams by that much, even if it's not that strong of a ranking, you deserve to be at least in the top 10 at 9-0. I mean, come on. It's just,
That's just straight up
I mean,
disrespectful.
bad ranking aside, we need to extend the playoffs to 8 teams. It's not a ridiculous task. After that, we would you would say like 16 teams would be straight up absurd. You can't do that in
No,
college football. But
obviously,
eight
no.
is totally doable. Every single fan that I've talked to, every single expert I've talked to wants it and believes it can happen. But it's very frustrating to me
I mean, I don't think anyone's saying, what we should have less playoff teams.
that, right? Like, oh my
I
gosh.
mean, the NFL itself just extended more playoff teams. So,
Yeah. So do the MLB, and they're talking about making that permanent. But I really don't like that for the MLB because it's 162. But
no.
I don't know how I feel about it for the NFL, but I know college needs to extend it.
Yeah. I
You've
don't know.
got plenty of deserving teams
Yeah. No, I mean,
that need a spot.
going back to the NFL, though, I really think that they should change their format to just being the top teams in the AFC and the top teams in the NFC instead of having, like, the Eagles in the playoffs. The goddamn Eagles.
Maybe.
Three and
But
six Eagles.
let's get back to the playoff rankings.
Yep.
What do you make of Ohio State being 4-0? This is really tough to rank them right now during COVID because some teams have played like 3 or 4 games and other teams have played 8 or 9. So it's difficult. But what do you make of the Big Ten specifically? Which Big Ten team is going to make it into the college football playoffs? Because you got Ohio State and Northwestern in the top 10. I believe that one of them will make it. Which one do you think will, if any?
Honestly, at this point, I'm taking Northwestern. I looked at the games, I watched them. I didn't watch them in full, but just the eye test, Northwestern has been going off again. Shout out to Wyatt Blake. Uh, if there's a chance he sees this, how's it going? But no, yeah, Northwestern at 5-0. Honestly, I'm taking them this year over Ohio State at 4-0. But maybe it's just the sample size isn't big enough. Ohio State, always a great team. Northwestern, this could be their year though. So, of the Big Ten, I'm going Northwestern over Ohio State. What about you?
Um, I need to see at least another game of football. Ohio State hasn't been playing their best, but they're still getting wins. And there's something teams go through. They need to work through some things. They need to. I think Ohio State needs to establish their offense more.
Mm-hmm.
But they still beat Indiana, who's ranked 12th. So that's a solid win. That gives them some
Dub's a dub.
recognition. But again, Northwestern beating up on Wisconsin holding them to 7 points, one touchdown with the extra point, and they had some insane amount of turnovers. I think if they played right now, I think that Northwestern would win. I want to see how Ohio State adjusts and grows as a team before I make my call. But if they're playing right now, I would also take Northwestern.
Yeah, right. As of now, Northwestern is better than Ohio State, but I don't know. I could see it down the stretch of the season. I could definitely see Ohio State, doing what Ohio State does and just
Mm-hmm.
absolutely dominating some kids and making them wish that they didn't play for that school. That's for
Yeah,
sure.
exactly.
Let's see another interesting one. Oregon at 3-0 at the 15
Three,
spot.
the three. That's the problem though. They're undefeated, but the 3-0. They've played 3 games. It's hard
I,
to rank teams
I
when
mean,
it's
it's like Wisconsin at 2-1. You're telling me at two and
exactly.
one,
That's why they're so far down is
like
because they're 2-1.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I
You
mean,
have to play more.
obviously, again, Coastal hasn't played the best of competition, but I think that they deserve to be over like a 2-1 team.
Maybe like a USC when they're 3-0.
Yeah, I think they at
Yeah,
least deserve to be over a USC or North Carolina. I
I
I
see
don't know how
that.
they're below North Carolina right now. I mean, 6-2 for
North Carolina's been playing pretty well. Hopefully Notre Dame can beat them by 2 touchdowns. Give them a solid another solid win going into the playoff contention. Do you think that Notre Dame can play a close game against Clemson in the ACC championship and still make it into the playoff?
yes.
Totally,
Honestly, I
totally.
do. This Notre
I,
Dame
yeah,
team, like you said earlier, it's good. It's good. They're not. I mean, like I doubt them losing to Clemson. I doubt
exactly. That's
Clemson
what I'm
beating them.
saying. Like worst case scenario, I think they play Clemson really close, um, and maybe lose. I think that's the worst case scenario for Notre Dame right now. And even if they do that, they're still to me in the playoff. They're ranked
Yeah,
number 2 right now. As long as they don't lose some stupid game against like I don't know whoever they're playing after North Carolina, they should be
yeah.
fine.
All right. I mean, all these teams on here just definitely deserve to be top 25, with one exception. Hear me out here. Iowa, University of Iowa, sitting at number 24 at 3-2, does not deserve to be a top 25 team.
I mean,
I
I don't disagree.
I could see them being like, don't get me wrong, they're still a good school. I'd personally have them like,
Well, actually, they played Northwestern really close. They only lost by 1 point to Northwestern, so
okay, but they're still three
they
and
did
two.
whoop up on Michigan State really big though, and they beat Penn State.
But look at the record of them versus the record of everyone else.
Yeah,
At the end of the day, what's the most important factor? It's going to be that number. That's just it. I don't see Iowa as being a top 25 team right now. They're good. They have a lot of talent. Don't get me wrong there.
they're
Obviously,
a good
they're a
team.
good football school, but they're not top 25 this year. That's just me.
I disagree. I think they are. They've got, as you just said, they've got some good talent. I think they've got good losses. Played a tough schedule, did what they could with it. I think that's fine. I think they're fine being top 25.
Okay.
Who do you think that we are going to get? Do you think it's possible that we get 2 SEC teams in this playoff? Alabama's essentially a shoe in, even if they drop one. But what do you think of Florida? What do you think of that?
No, no. Honestly,
Oh,
I'm
you don't
gonna
think so?
no. I
What about
think
what about Georgia? Georgia's right there. They lose to both Florida and Bama. I don't think they deserve to be in the
yeah,
playoff.
George. No, Georgia's not getting in the playoffs this year.
Unless
That's for sure.
maybe if they win the title game for the SEC, but
But
I don't
no.
even think they're gonna make it
I
there. I
mean,
don't think
I think
they're
Bama's a
smart.
guaranteed one. Honestly, I think Notre Dame's guaranteed. I very much doubt Clemson's out of there. The only team that I could see not making the playoffs in the top four right now is Ohio State.
Do you think if Clemson loses to Notre Dame in the ACC championship, which is looking like that's going to be the matchup, do you think that Clemson's out of the playoff if they lose to Notre Dame twice?
I think if they lose to Notre Dame twice, there's a shot of them being out of the playoffs. But I think the more likely scenario of them losing Notre Dame, they just get moved down to fourth. I think some team leapfrogs them, goes into third, and I think at the end of the season it's going to be Bama, Notre Dame. I don't know who three is going to be yet, but I think fourth is definitely going to be Clemson. I'm calling it now. Uh, I could definitely see. Let me look. Let me look. Honestly, I'm gonna go with a dark horse here. I'm going Cincinnati at 8-0. I
That's a
think
fair pick. They're
I
really
think
good. We haven't talked about them yet, but they're really good.
yeah, I think Cincinnati at 8-0 could definitely leapfrog into the playoffs. So here are my picks from right now. I'm going Bama, Notre Dame, Cincinnati, Clemson. Those are my four. What
No
about you?
Big Ten in there, dude. Here's mine. Well, first of all, I have to address my own question. If Clemson loses to Notre Dame in the ACC championship, are they making it into the playoff? I say no because to me, with the top four teams in college football
Mm.
going up for a national championship, you have to be able to make the case that you could easily be considered one of the best teams in the nation. Now that means you can have like maybe a loss, but to me two losses. Now there's no way that you can make a case that you're the best team in the nation if you have two losses, especially if they're against the same team. Because if you're making a play to be the best team in the country, losing two times to the same team, that essentially means that that team is definitely better than you.
I guess so, but at the same time, I don't think I can make an argument for two teams being better than Clemson.
I think that if that's what you like, if you're thinking who's a better team, and if you think Notre Dame is the one or two best teams in the country,
Mm.
then you can justify Clemson being three or four.
Yeah,
But I think if you have established that Notre Dame has beaten Clemson twice, I don't think that Clemson can make the claim that they are worthy of a shot in the national championship because clearly Notre Dame would be the better team. They would have established themselves as a better team. Clemson would have no real argument for them being a possibility, being the possible national champions to me. That's the way that I look at it.
I, I see where you come from there, but I don't know. I think you can't make an argument that Clemson isn't a top four team in the nation, regardless if they lose to Notre Dame or not. They're still going to be a top four team in the nation. If you're telling me Texas A&M is going to be better than Clemson, I'd say you're on crack.
Well, here's the deal. There's some people arguing that Ohio State is better than Clemson. And then if you have Northwestern beating Ohio State, well, then by process of, reasoning, Northwestern's better than Clemson.
I just don't have Ohio State as being better than Clemson. That's the issue.
That's fair. I'm just playing devil's advocate or Ohio State's advocate. Well, it's not much of a difference there, but
Man, fuck Ohio State.
I have to root for them because they're Big Ten. But
But at the same
I
time,
would
fuck
much
Ohio
rather
State.
I would much rather Northwestern be in the playoff than Ohio State for sure. That is a certainty right there. Oh man, got any more hot takes, Moses? Now's the
Uh,
time to speak your piece.
honestly, I want to hear your four for the playoffs before I give you another hot take.
All right, I don't see Alabama losing. I just said that, so now I do think they're going to lose, but I'm going to stick to my guns. I don't think that Alabama's going to lose. I think they're number one. I think Notre Dame can stay number two. I think that um, they're going to fix their red zone issue, and I think they're going to come out against Clemson and beat them regardless of who plays quarterback, which obviously that would mean that I think Clemson is dropping out. I just said that Northwestern would beat Ohio State, so I would have Northwestern at 4, and I – not Clemson. Man, this is tough.
That three spot, it's the toughest one to pick. I'm telling you.
Mhm. I don't know. I haven't seen Texas A&M play. Florida lost to Bama, and I can't have a two-loss team in there. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to throw Cincinnati a bone. I'm going to throw
Wow.
Cincinnati a bone, and
Stealing
I'm
my
gonna
dark horse pick. Okay.
I'm
Stealing
gonna
my pick.
throw them a bone. Hey man, BYU at 9-0, they could still make it, and I am not shy about saying that.
I mean, they could, but let's look at BYU's schedule. Okay. Who are they playing for the rest of the season?
Yeah, yeah, for
Like,
sure.
you got to look at their level of competition. They just played North Alabama. Like they didn't play.
Yeah, I totally got you there.
Let's see, they destroyed Boise State, but I mean Boise State's not like, oh man, you know what I love? Boise State football.
I just
Uh,
wish that they used the bowl games as qualifiers, dude. Like
oh my
make it
gosh, if they used bowl games as
no-brainer,
qualifiers,
dude.
this would be a completely different, completely.
It'd be a totally different conversation, and that would make the game way more like, first of all, fair and like opportunistic for teams that are like BYU and Cincinnati that don't really get the chance to play top teams, but should.
That's that's true. I mean, BYU's got San Diego State next. They haven't played yeah, BYU hasn't played a single ranked team all season.
Mm-hmm.
That's their issue.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then Cincinnati. Let's see, they're playing UCF. Have they played any ranked teams yet?
Yeah, you have to play at least a one ranked team to be considered
Oh,
in my.
I guess they beat Memphis, who was 17 at the time.
I
Oh,
don't know
sorry,
if
no, no,
that's
sorry, take it
enough.
back. That was last year. I
Yeah, I'm scratching
does this
Cincinnati. I
Google does
mean,
this?
I'll
Yeah,
go
Cincinnati.
with I'll go with you know what, Northwestern 3 and Florida 4, or Florida 3 and Florida 3 and Northwestern 4. If Florida plays Bama
Oh,
close,
actually,
but they'd be a 2-loss team though.
Cincinnati's playing Tulsa, who's ranked 24th right now.
That's not good enough.
And
I'll
then
bump Texas A&M to 3. I haven't seen them play, but I'll give them the benefit of the doubt since they're ranked 5th right now, and I'll put Northwestern at 4. So Bama, Notre Dame, Texas A&M, Northwestern. That's not going to be right. There's no way in hell that's going to be right. But
hey, you know what? It might be. You could have called it right now, and you could have just fuck it. Let's go bet on
we're
this
talking
shit right
about the
now.
Bulls draft pick. I'm going to ride that until I'm wrong about something.
Patrick Williams.
All right. I guess that's it for today's episode of the Beanie
God,
Boys podcast. Like, subscribe, comment below. Tell us what you want us to talk about. We're open to suggestions. We
hit the
love basically
notification
college
bell.
sports. Smash that notification bell, man.
And you know what? If you want to join us on a podcast, just hit us up. You got to wear a
Let us
beanie though.
know. Let
Wear a
us know.
beanie and talk
2
sports.
rules: wear a beanie and no Luke Longley slander.
None
Those
at
are
all.
our 2 simple rules. If you can
Follow
follow
them.
them, be on
You're
the
in.
podcast.
Again, don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you next week. Same time, same day. Beanie Boys out. Fire
Have a
pays.
have a happy Thanksgiving.
Oh, that
Be
too.
safe. Be safe.
Yeah.
We love y'all. We love y'all to the moon and back.